Cynthia, the new bride, stand barefoot on cold marble tiles, shaking because the man she just married, her billionaire husband, was leaning in to kiss her. And the moment she said one simple sentence, the air changed. It changed like someone switched off the world. "Wait," Cynthia whispered. Her voice was small. "Tomorrow, I would like to buy a dog." That was it. Just that. The word dog. Bayo froze like a statue. His eyes widened, and for 1 second he looked like a child caught doing something bad. Then his throat made a strange sound. Not a cough, not a laugh. A rough, broken sound, like something inside him was fighting to come out. "Cynthia," he said, but his voice cracked at the middle, like it didn't belong to him anymore. Cynthia's heart beat hard. The chandelier above them was shining bright, but the room suddenly felt darker. Bayo's hands, those neat, expensive hands with a gold wedding band, went to his face like he was trying to hold it together. And then he screamed. It wasn't a normal scream. It was loud and sharp, like someone stepped on him. "No!" he shouted. His body jerked backward. His shoulders shook. His jaw started shifting. Cynthia took one step back without even thinking. "Bayo," she called, but her voice came out like a whisper. "Bayo, what's happening?" His face started changing, not in a movie way that looks clean and fake. No, this looked wrong, too real. His nose pushed forward, his mouth stretched, his teeth. Cynthia covered her own mouth with her hand because she couldn't breathe. And then, right in front of her eyes, Bayo's face turned into a dog's face. A large dog. Big head, wide mouth, strong jaw. His eyes still had fear in them. But they were not human eyes anymore. He opened his mouth, and he barked, a deep, angry bark that echoed inside the master bedroom like thunder. "Ah!" Cynthia shouted and stumbled back, her leg hitting the edge of the king-size bed. Her back hit the mattress. Her mind refused to accept what her eyes were seeing. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be her life, but it was. The man she had been smiling with on a wedding stage only hours ago was now barking at her like a wild German shepherd. Cynthia's hands began to shake so badly she could not control them. She forced words out anyway. "Please, who are you?" The dog-headed thing looked at her. It looked hurt, like it wanted to answer, and then, like a painful miracle, words pushed out of its mouth again, not a bark. Human words, broken, strained. "Don't say that word," it hissed. "Don't." Cynthia's eyes filled with tears instantly. "What word?" she cried, her voice cracking. "Dog, dog, Bayo, talk to me. I didn't marry a dog. I didn't." The dog-headed Bayo flinched like the word slapped him. He barked again, this time louder. Then his body turned fast, too fast. He ran toward the bedroom door. Cynthia jumped forward. "Wait, Bayo!" She grabbed at him, but her fingers only caught air and a flash of his ash t-shirt as he rushed past. He slammed the door open with force, and before Cynthia could even reach the hallway, he was gone. Gone like an animal. Gone like something that had been hiding for a long time and finally got exposed. Cynthia ran after him, her bare feet slapping the marble floor. "Bayo, stop!" She reached the staircase. She looked down. She saw it. Bayo, now fully acting like a dog, leaping down steps, fast and wild, like he had done it before. The security men downstairs were confused at first. One of them shouted, "Madam, what is happening?" Cynthia's throat burned. She couldn't even answer. All she could do was scream again, "Stop him! Please stop him!" The men rushed forward. They tried. They really tried. But Bayo moved like a real dog now, quick, smart, low to the ground. He dodged one man. He jumped over another man's leg. Then he shot out through the open front door like a bullet. Cynthia ran into the living room. The big TV was off. The sofas looked untouched. The house was too quiet for the kind of madness happening inside it. She reached the doorway and stepped outside. And the cold night air slapped her skin. Outside, the bright security lights made everything look too clear. The gate area, the driveway, the street. And there, Bayo was already running toward the mansion gate, jumping, barking, wild. The guards at the gate were holding their batons, stunned like their brains had stopped working. One of them muttered, "Jesus." Another one raised his baton, then paused like he was afraid to hit what he didn't understand. Bio reached the gate, and in one powerful jump, he climbed. Yes, climbed. Like a dog that had climbed walls before. He reached the top and dropped down to the other side. Then he ran into the street. Cynthia stood there at the entrance, frozen. Her chest rose and fell fast. Her whole body was hot and cold at the same time. She heard voices. People were coming out of their houses. Neighbors, curious, suspicious. Some of them had been watching this mansion for months. Some of them had always whispered about Bio, about how he appeared from nowhere, about how he suddenly started buying cars and building houses like money grew in his pocket. And now they were seeing something they would never forget. A woman's voice in the crowd said, loud and clear, I told you his wealth is not ordinary. Another man replied, see am, no be normal. Cynthia turned slowly, her eyes met strangers' eyes. So many eyes. Watching her shame, watching her wedding night turn into a nightmare. A heavy feeling rose in her stomach, not just fear, not just shock, humiliation. The kind that makes your skin crawl, the kind that makes you want to disappear. Cynthia's knees suddenly weakened. She stepped forward, then fell. Her hands hit dusty ground. Her pajamas touched sand. Her tears dropped fast like rain. She looked at the gate like it could open and swallow her. She cried out loud, not a neat cry, not a pretty cry. A messy, painful cry that sounded like a person's heart tearing. Oh God, oh God, her voice shook. My father warned me. And that was the part that broke her even more. Because yes, her father warned her, not once, not twice, many times. And Cynthia had told herself he was just being too strict, too hard, too old-fashioned. She had told herself love was enough. But now she was on the ground in front of a mansion gate, crying like a child. And the man she called her husband was running through the streets like a dog. And people were watching. Some were even recording with their phones. Cynthia's fingers dug into the dust. Her eyes burned. How do I explain this? She whispered. How do I tell my family that my husband turned into a dog? Her voice rose again. Bio, please. But Bio was gone. Only the sound of distant barking remained, fading into the night. And just as Cynthia tried to stand up, she saw someone pushing through the crowd. A woman. Older, strong, angry, walking fast like she came to fight. It was Bio's mother, Amara. Cynthia had met her before, plenty times. Amara always smiled with her mouth, but not with her eyes. Her eyes were the kind that calculated things. The kind that looked at people and saw what they could bring. That night, Amara's wrapper was tied tight around her waist. Her head tie sat firm. Her face was not shocked, not surprised, not confused. Her face looked stressed, like someone whose secret just started leaking. She marched straight toward Cynthia, and before Cynthia could even speak, Amara raised her hand and shoved her, hard. Cynthia fell back onto the dusty ground again. Her elbow scraped lightly on a stone. Pain shot up her arm. She gasped. Ma, Cynthia cried, why did you push me? Amara's voice came out sharp, like a slap. Get up from there and stop crying like a goat, she snapped. Cynthia stared at her, stunned. Your son just turned into a... Don't! Amara cut her off quickly, almost panicking. Don't say that word. Cynthia blinked through tears. What word? Dog, she said, confused. Dog? Amara's eyes widened. She flinched, like Cynthia threw fire at her. Then she hissed, low and fast. You want him to die, eh? Cynthia froze. Die? Amara leaned closer, her voice shaking with anger and fear. Your father warned you, she said, but you did not hear. You still rushed because of money, because of flashy life, because of car. Cynthia's mouth opened, her heart pounded. Car? She repeated weakly. Amara pointed, a finger at her like a judge. Is it not because of the SUV he bought for me that you people started pressing this wedding? Is it not because everybody was shouting, Bayo is a billionaire, that you ignored all signs? Cynthia felt like the ground was moving. This was not how a wedding night was supposed to be. This was not how love was supposed to sound. Her voice broke. Ma, I didn't know he was like this. Amara's lips trembled. For one small moment, Cynthia thought she saw regret. But it disappeared quickly. Amara looked at the neighbors watching. She looked at the phones. She looked at the security men. Then she whispered to Cynthia with a tone that was almost a warning, "Keep quiet. If you talk too much, you will bring bigger shame." Cynthia's eyes widened. Bigger shame than this? Amara didn't answer. She turned sharply and shouted at the security men, "Close the gate! Close it now!" The men rushed to obey. The gate slowly shut. But it was too late. The street already knew. The neighbors already knew. And Cynthia knew something too. Something she had never admitted before. Bio's wealth had always felt like a miracle that came too fast. He never spoke clearly about his business. Sometimes he would laugh and say, "Money is money." Sometimes he would say, "Don't ask too many questions." And Cynthia had told herself, maybe he just likes privacy. But now she was starting to see the truth. And it was ugly. She pushed herself up slowly. Her legs shook. She hugged herself like she was cold. "Where did he go?" she asked, her voice small. Amara stared at the closed gate for 2 seconds. Then she whispered, "He will run to the people that know the secret." Cynthia swallowed. The people that know what secret? Amara's jaw tightened. She looked away. Then she said something that made Cynthia's blood run cold. "There are people like him. They meet. At night, they help each other. They protect each other." Cynthia's eyes widened slowly. "Like a group?" Amara didn't answer directly. She just said, with bitter fear, "If they don't catch him fast, before daybreak, this problem will become permanent." Cynthia felt dizzy. Permanent? Amara finally turned and looked at her, eyes sharp, and she said the words that ended Cynthia's breathing for a moment. "If he stays like that, he may never come back as a man." Cynthia's lips parted. Her mind screamed, "Never come back." She looked at the mansion, the big house, the bright lights, the shiny cars in the compound, everything that looked like a dream. And suddenly, it all looked like a trap. Then, from outside the gate, a loud bark echoed again, closer, angrier, and at the same time someone began pounding on the gate from the street side. Bam! 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 A male voice shouted, "Open this gate! We saw it! We saw your husband!" Cynthia's heart jumped into her throat. Amara's face changed fast. Fear flashed in her eyes. The security men looked at each other. Cynthia stepped back slowly, because she realized something in that moment. This was not only about shame anymore. This was not only about a husband turning into a dog. This was bigger, dangerous, and the people outside the gate were not just neighbors now. They sounded angry, like a crowd that had waited for proof. And now that proof had come running down their street, barking. Cynthia's mouth went dry. Her voice shook as she whispered, "Amara, what exactly did your son do to get this kind of money?" Amara stared at her. The pounding on the gate grew louder. The barking outside grew louder, and Amara said, through clenched teeth, "He made a deal." Cynthia's eyes widened. A deal with who? Amara's gaze hardened, and just as she opened her mouth to answer, the gate latch rattled, like someone was trying to force it open. And Cynthia heard a voice from outside scream, "If you don't open this gate, we will break it. That dog man ran past us." Cynthia's knees went weak again because she knew something terrible was about to happen next, and she also knew this was only the beginning. The pounding on the gate did not stop. If anything, it got louder. Bam, bam, bam. The iron shook. The security lights flickered slightly, as if even electricity was afraid of what was happening. Cynthia stood frozen near the entrance of the mansion, her back pressed against the cold wall. Her chest rose and fell fast. Her ears rang. Her wedding night, this night she had imagined since she was a girl, had turned into something she could not name. Fear sat heavy on her tongue. Outside the gate, voices rose together, men, women, angry, curious, some shouting, some laughing in disbelief. "Open the gate. We saw Am with our own eyes. That thing ran past my car. See this one-way day. Marry dog." Each word cut into Cynthia like a small knife. She squeezed her eyes shut for a second. This is not my life, she told herself, but when she opened them again, the mansion was still there. The dust was still on her pajamas, and Amara was still standing beside her, breathing hard. Amara turned sharply to the security men. "Don't open that gate," she snapped. "Anybody way open will answer me." One of the guards swallowed. "But madam," he said, his voice shaking, "the crowd—" "I said don't open it," Amara shouted. The guard nodded quickly and stepped back. Cynthia stared at Amara. Her heart was pounding so hard she felt it in her throat. "You said he made a deal," Cynthia whispered. "A deal with who?" Amara did not answer immediately. She rubbed her palms together, back and forth, like someone trying to wash away dirt that would not come off. The shouting outside continued. Someone kicked the gate. The metal cried out. Amara finally spoke, her voice lower now, tight with fear. "Come inside," she said, "before people hear too much." Cynthia hesitated. "Inside?" she repeated weakly. "My husband is outside, barking. And you want me to go inside?" Amara's eyes flashed. "If you want to stay alive," she said coldly, "you will follow me." Those words did not sound like advice, they sounded like a warning. Cynthia's stomach turned. Alive? She looked once more at the gate, at the shadows of people moving outside, at the phones held up, at the shame already spreading like fire. Then she followed Amara. They walked fast through the living room, their footsteps echoing too loudly in the quiet house. The luxury now felt mocking. The white sofas, the glass tables, the gold frames on the walls. All of it felt borrowed, stolen. They entered a smaller sitting room at the back of the house. Amara closed the door and locked it. Then she leaned against it, breathing hard, like she had just run a long distance. Cynthia stood in the middle of the room. Her hands were still shaking. "Please," she said, her voice breaking, "I need to understand what is happening. I need to know who I married." Amara stared at her, really stared, like she was seeing Cynthia for the first time. Then she laughed, a short, bitter laugh. "You are just like your mother," she said, soft, asking questions when you should have been watching. Cynthia felt tears rise again. "My father warned me," she whispered. "He begged me. He said Bayo's money came too fast. He said nobody knew his business." Amara's jaw tightened. "Your father is a stubborn man," she said, but this time he was not wrong. Cynthia's breath caught. "So it's true?" she asked. "Bayo was into something evil?" Amara turned away. She walked slowly to a chair and sat down like her bones were suddenly tired. For a long moment she said nothing. The noise outside faded a little. Maybe the crowd was moving. Maybe they were waiting. Then Amara spoke. "My son was not always like this," she said quietly. "There was a time he was poor. Very poor." Cynthia listened, her heart heavy. He tried business, failed, tried school, dropped out, tried traveling, no visa. Everywhere he turned, door closed, Amara continued. People laughed at him, even family. Cynthia remembered how confident Bayo always looked. How calm, how sure. It felt strange to imagine him desperate. One night, Amara went on, he left this house and did not return until morning. When he came back, his eyes were different. Cynthia leaned forward slightly. "Different how?" Amara swallowed. "Hard," she said, like someone that had seen something that cannot be unseen. She paused. 2 weeks later, money entered his account. Big money, then more, then cars, then houses. Cynthia's chest felt tight. "And you did not ask him where the money came from?" Amara laughed again, this time louder. "Ask?" she repeated. "Do you ask a drowning man how he found land?" Cynthia flinched. "So you allowed it," she said softly. Amara's eyes snapped up. "I protected my son," she said sharply. "I did what any mother would do." Cynthia shook her head slowly. "No," she said, "any mother would ask if her son's soul was safe." Amara stood up suddenly. Her chair scraped the floor. "Mind your mouth," she snapped. Then her anger fell away just as fast. She looked tired. Old. "You think I did not fear?" she asked quietly. "You think I slept well all these years?" Cynthia did not answer. Amara sighed. "There is a group," she said. "They meet at night. Men like Bayo. Men that want fast power." Cynthia's blood ran cold. Occult, she whispered. Amara did not deny it. They promised him wealth, she said, but every promise has a price. Cynthia's hands clenched. What price? Amara hesitated. Then she said it. He was warned, she said, never to keep a dog, never to mention a dog, never to joke about a dog. Cynthia's heart sank. And if he did, she asked, even though she already knew the answer. He would return to what he used to pay, Amara said. Cynthia frowned. What he used to pay? Amara's lips trembled. During initiation, she whispered, they said he had to give something close to him, something alive. Cynthia's stomach twisted. A dog? She asked slowly. Amara closed her eyes. He gave himself, she said, for one night. Cynthia felt dizzy. For one night, she repeated. Amara nodded. They turned him into a dog that night. They said if he survived it, wealth would follow him forever. Cynthia covered her mouth. Oh God. That was the rule, Amara continued. No one must ever remind him of that night. If the word dog ever touches, his ear with meaning. The spell breaks. Cynthia's legs weakened. She sank onto the nearest chair. So when I said I wanted to buy a dog, she whispered. Amara nodded slowly. You touched the wound, she said. You tore it open. Tears poured down Cynthia's face. I didn't know, she cried. I swear I didn't know. Amara looked at her, her eyes filled with something close to regret. I know, she said quietly. But ignorance does not stop consequences. A loud shout suddenly came from outside. We have him! Cynthia jumped. Amara's head snapped toward the door. Her eyes widened. That was them, she said. Who? Cynthia asked, her heart racing. His friends, Amara replied, the ones in the same group. Almost immediately, heavy footsteps rushed into the house. Doors opened. Voices spoke fast and low. A man knocked hard on the sitting room door. Madam, he called, we caught him. Amara rushed forward and opened the door. 3 men stood there, sweating, breathing hard. They looked rich, but their eyes looked afraid. Behind them, between 2 guards, was Bio, or what was left of him. He was crouched low, barefoot, his clothes torn. His face was still that of a dog, but his eyes were crying. Cynthia stood up slowly, her heart shattered. Bio, she whispered. He lifted his head at the sound of her voice. He whimpered, a sound so sad it cut through her. One of the men spoke. We chased him down Admiralty Way, he said. He almost caused an accident. Another added, people were already calling police. Amara turned to them. What now? She asked. The men exchanged looks. One of them wiped sweat from his face. We must cleanse him, he said. Tonight. Cynthia's chest tightened. Cleanse? She asked. What does that mean? The man looked at her, then away. It means reversing the spell, he said. Cynthia felt a small spark of hope. You can turn him back? She asked quickly. The men hesitated. Maybe, one said, but there is risk. What kind of risk? Cynthia pressed. Silence. Then Amara spoke. If he turns back, she said slowly, he may not survive it. Cynthia gasped. No, she cried, there must be another way. One of the men shook his head. The deal was clear, he said. Breaking it always comes with payment. Cynthia walked toward Bayo despite herself. She knelt in front of him. Her heart ached. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. Why did you marry me knowing this? Bayo's eyes filled with tears. His voice came out weak and broken. I thought love would protect me, he said. Cynthia sobbed. This is not love, she cried. This is lies. Outside, sirens wailed faintly in the distance. Someone whispered, Police. The men looked at each other. We don't have time, one said, urgently. We must do it now. Amara turned to Cynthia. You should not be here for this, she said. Cynthia shook her head. He is my husband, she said. I will not leave. Amara looked at her for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. Then prepare your heart, she said, because deep down, Cynthia felt it. A heavy feeling in her chest, like something precious was already slipping away. And as they dragged Bayo toward the inner room for the cleansing, he looked back at Cynthia one last time, and his eyes said something words could not. This will not end well. And Cynthia knew. The night was far from over. They took Bayo into the inner room just after midnight. The room used to be a study, clean, quiet, books arranged carefully. Now it smelled of sweat, fear, and burning incense. Someone had dimmed the lights. Shadows clung to the walls like they were alive. Cynthia stood at the doorway. Her heart beat so loud she wondered if everyone could hear. Bayo was forced to the floor. Not gently, not kindly. The men who held him looked afraid of him, and afraid for him at the same time. "Please," Bayo said, his voice still human, still broken, "don't let me die." That sentence hit Cynthia like a slap. She rushed forward. "What do you mean die? Nobody said you will die." One of the men avoided her eyes. Another whispered, "Madam, we are trying." Trying. That word felt empty. Amara stood in one corner of the room, arms folded tight across her chest. She was not crying. She was not praying. She looked like someone waiting for a result she already knew. A small bowl was placed on the floor. Inside it was dark liquid, thick, smelling bitter. "Drink it," one man ordered. Bayo shook his head violently. "No, not again. Please." Again. Cynthia caught that word. "Again?" she asked sharply. "What do you mean again?" Nobody answered her. Bayo's body started shaking. His breathing grew fast. His claws, because they were claws now, scratched the floor. "I don't want to be a dog anymore," he cried. "I just want to be normal." Cynthia knelt beside him. Her tears dropped freely now. "Then why did you choose this life?" she whispered. "Why didn't you walk away when you still could?" Bayo looked at her. His eyes were full of regret. "I was tired of being nothing," he said softly. "I wanted respect. I wanted power. I wanted you." That hurt more than anger would have. One of the men raised his hand. "Enough talking," he said. "Time is going." Outside, distant sirens wailed again, closer this time. The men moved fast. They forced the bowl to Bayo's mouth. "Drink," Bayo screamed. The sound was half bark, half human cry. The liquid spilled on his chin as he fought. Cynthia grabbed the man's arm. "Stop! You're killing him!" The man shook her off. "If we stop now," he said, breathless, "he stays like this forever." That word again. Forever. Bayo finally swallowed. His body went still, too still. The room fell silent. Then he screamed. A long, terrible scream that made Cynthia cover her ears. His body twisted. Bones cracked. His face began to change back. Slowly, painfully. The dog's snout pulled back. The fur disappeared. His mouth reshaped. His eyes, human again, locked onto Cynthia's. He reached out his hand. "Cynthia," he whispered. Relief rushed through her. "Oh God," she cried, "it worked." But the men stepped back. Their faces were pale. "No," one whispered. "This is the dangerous part." Bayo gasped. His chest rose once, twice, then stopped. "Bayo," Cynthia said, shaking him. No response. "Bayo," she screamed. Nothing. Silence filled the room like death itself. And in that silence, Cynthia understood something terrible. The spell was broken. But the man she married might already be gone. Cynthia dropped to her knees. The floor felt cold, but she didn't notice. All she could see was Bayo's chest. She waited for it to rise. It didn't. "Bayo," she whispered. Nothing. Her hands shook as she placed one on his chest, the other near his nose like she had seen in movies. No breath, no movement, no life. "No, no, no," she said quickly, her words tumbling over each other. "This is not funny. Please breathe." She pressed her ear to his chest. Silence, a deep, scary silence. Someone behind her murmured a prayer. Another person stepped back like they were afraid of the body. One of the men from the group shook his head slowly. "It's done," he said. "The deal is complete." Cynthia turned on him like fire. "Done," she screamed. "You killed him." The man swallowed. "We warned you," he said softly. "Once the curse is broken, life must answer." Amara finally moved. She walked toward the body, slow and careful. She stared at her son's face. Human again, young, peaceful, too still. For the first time that night, Amara cried. Not loud, just quiet tears that rolled down her face and dropped on Bayo's chest. "My son," she whispered. I told you to be careful. Cynthia stood up suddenly. Her legs felt weak, but anger held her upright. You knew, she said, pointing at Amara. You knew this could happen? Amara looked at her, eyes red. Yes, she said, and I prayed it would not. That is not enough, Cynthia shouted. Prayer without truth is useless. The room felt tight, heavy. Outside, a loud knock hit the front door. Bang! Police, open this door. Everyone froze. Fear passed through the room like cold wind. One of the men whispered, They've come. Another said, We cannot let them see this. Cynthia laughed, a sharp, broken laugh. See what? She asked. A dead man? Or the truth? She looked down at Bayo again. Her heart cracked open. This man had lied to her. Yes. But he had also loved her in his own broken way, and now he was gone. Amara grabbed Cynthia's arm. You must leave, she said urgently. Now. Cynthia pulled her arm free. Leave and go where? She asked. My husband just died on our wedding night. The knock came again, louder. Open this door now. Cynthia took a deep breath. Something changed inside her. Fear gave way to clarity. No, she said calmly. I will not hide anymore. Amara stared at her. What are you saying? I will go back to my father's house, Cynthia said. I will tell him everything. Amara's face tightened. You will shame us. Cynthia nodded slowly. Yes, she said, but the shame did not start with me. The police knocked again, harder. The men panicked. One of them whispered, We must move the body. Cynthia stepped in front of Bayo. No, she said firmly. Nobody touches him. Her voice was steady now, strong. She looked at Amara. You pushed. Me because of a car, she said, but tonight that car has taken everything from us. Amara said nothing. The door finally opened in the distance. Footsteps filled the house. Cynthia bent down one last time. She touched Bayo's cold hand. Rest, she whispered. Your secrets are over. And as uniformed voices echoed closer, Cynthia knew her life had split into two parts, before this night and after it. The police cars waited outside the mansion like silent judges. Red and blue lights painted the cream walls in harsh colors. Neighbors stood at a distance, whispering, pointing, confirming every rumor they had ever shared behind closed doors. Inside the house, officers moved carefully. They saw Bayo's body on the floor, human again, still. One of them bent down, checked for signs of life, then slowly shook his head. Cynthia stood nearby, wrapped in a borrowed shawl. Her face was swollen from crying, but her eyes were dry now. Empty. Like tears had finished their job. An officer turned to her gently. Madam, can you tell us what happened? Cynthia inhaled. She did not rush. She did not lie. She told them everything. From the wedding night, to the kiss, to the word dog, to the scream, to the chase, to the truth she never asked for. The officers exchanged looks. They had heard many strange stories before, but this one sat heavy. Amara sat on a chair, hands trembling in her lap. She did not interrupt. She did not argue. Her strength was gone. By morning, the news had spread. Billionaire dies mysteriously on wedding night. Dark secrets behind sudden wealth exposed. Occult rumors confirmed. By noon, Cynthia was back in her father's house in Surulere. Her mother held her tightly and cried with her. But her father, Mr. Jerry, stood at the doorway. He did not shout. He did not say, I told you so. He only said one sentence. Sit down. Cynthia obeyed. He looked at her for a long time. Then he spoke quietly. I warned you, he said, not because I hated him, but because I saw hunger in his eyes. Cynthia nodded. I know now, she whispered. I begged you, he continued, but money spoke louder than wisdom. Those words hurt more than shouting would have. Days passed. The mansion was sealed. Bayo's accounts were frozen, cars were taken away, friends disappeared. The group that chased him that night vanished like smoke, and just like that, the billionaire life ended. Cynthia stayed indoors for weeks. She replayed everything in her head. The signs she ignored, the questions she never asked, the silence she mistook for peace. One afternoon, she sat beside her mother on the veranda. Mummy, she said softly, why didn't you stop me? Her mother wiped her eyes. I was tempted, she admitted. By comfort, by pride, by what people would say. They sat in silence. Then Cynthia said something that sounded older than her age. Greed never comes alone. It always brings shame with it. Her mother nodded slowly. Cynthia did not return to the mansion. She did not fight for property. She did not chase money. She chose peace. And though the pain remained, one truth stayed clear. She was alive. She was free. And she had learned, too late, but deeply. If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.